Entering the Flex Zone today, I will be interviewing an individual that has been featured in Men's Health, Muscle and Fitness, and Iron Man magazine, to name a few. My guest is the manager and author of Bigger, Better, Faster 2.0 muscle building program and is the founder of the Mind Muscle Academy. Justin Woltering, you have entered the Flex Zone. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm pumped up about today. It's great having you on the show. And for all the Flex Zone fanatics out there, why don't you start from the beginning? Why don't you let everybody know how you got the drive to become a fitness expert, so to speak?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I could go all the way back to being a kid with, the same as most people getting inspired by the old movies with Schwarzenegger and Van Damme. But really, it came down to just having a weight set and a heavy bag in my New Jersey basement, just kind of like old school bare bones, just kind of a basic gym with, cinder block unfinished basement. And we're in there to start to do the work. So my dad was into lifting. Later on, my high school football coach was actually affiliated with the West Side Barbell program, which is like the most hardcore strength training program in the nation. So I just had some good luck early on, but really having this kind of like crazy childhood, like a lot of your listeners, a lot of people had a difficult childhood growing up. And this was kind of that one anchor that made things feel stable and certain for me. So I always have just kind of been connected to the iron or gravitated back towards the iron. And it's just always been a crucial part of my life.
I know working out, a lot of times, a lot of people translate working out to having a really hardcore work ethic. I mean, a lot of people that are diligent in the gym, that go every day, that try to build that physique, it kind of translate into many things. Talk about football. I mean, did you take it any further than high school, or was that it?
Oh, I mean, just because speaking of work ethic, I was working to pay my way through college, you know what I mean? So I didn't have the traditional college experience per se. I mean, I played a little bit of club sports, but no, that's when I really kind of went all in on the bodybuilding side of things and the fitness side of things. And like you said, I just like the idea of getting a competitive advantage over the competition, even in business or whatever it was when you're a teenager, getting girls, whatever things you're into.
Yeah.
It's just that I wanted to make sure that I was putting in work, and I knew that with bodybuilding and training, you couldn't fake it. People can bullshit about anything, but this is something you actually have to do the hard work. So I figured that was a way I could get a leg up.
And when I was younger, too, I remember I was an alumni from University of Georgia, and we saw that horrible loss that we experienced a couple of weeks ago. But I remember being in the gym. I was a cheerleader in college. We had a pretty rigorous workout routine that we used to do, but I used to go to Stegman Coliseum to go work out. And being 18, 19, 20 years old, you got the drive to go all day. I'd be squatting like 5:30.
Nice.
What was it like for you when you started as a youngster? What was your workout routine like? Did you take any supplementation? How did you educate yourself in fitness?
Well, I mean, I'd say I did everything the hard way, right? I mean,
Right.
I was so hard-headed, too. I remember I had like one personal training session as a teenager, and the guy like made me puke or something. But I was like, I don't need a trainer. I'm invincible. I'm just going to go crush it and just, kind of use the animal mentality of just work harder, work more. I remember I would start every workout with 5 sets of pull-ups and just doing as heavy as I possibly could for, probably a decade, man. I mean, I was all in on strength and just pushing it to the limit. And only in the last few years did I start to scale back and say, hey, I don't need to lift weights 6 days a week. I can do 4 days, 3 days, 5 days and still yield pretty much the same results. So maybe around 25 or so, I really realized that, hey, less can be more if you prioritize recovery and things like that. But like you said, as a young guy, it was just balls to the wall.
And let me guess, Justin, as far as your eating schedule, that's probably been the toughest thing for me as far as my exercise routine, trying to get it situated where, okay, I am working out and I'm also eating right. Who educated you in that area of your fitness program?
Yeah, I'd say I've always read everything I could. I've always talked to dietitians. So I've always tried to surround myself with intelligent trainers, nutrition coaches. But really, it just came down to building that routine. So I'd say when I became a personal trainer, the guy that trained me, watching him actually live it to get competition shredded was very hardcore because he only ate, 5 or 6 foods and just repeated over and over again. He wouldn't even heat it up. He was like
Wow.
a Spartan, But seeing that and seeing how effective it was, I was like, all right, this is just fuel for me. I just need to get used to eating at this schedule and kind of building those anchors in the day, whether that's the workout routine or the diet plan, and having those set meal plans in there. But yeah, that just took years of repetition to make it second nature to where you don't even think about it anymore.
Now, as you get older, I guess there's a little bit of wear and tear on the body. Have you experienced any setbacks throughout your career as far as sustaining any injuries?
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 years or so, I really had to put the ego aside. I remember I was with Dymatize and we were at Bella Falcone gym in Florida, I think, and it's all the top personalities in the industry were there training. So the cameras are rolling, everyone's going as hard as they can. And after that, I felt a little shoulder injury. And just once you start messing with your rotator cuff or bicep tendons, you have to really, really retrain the way you do things. And I just always, since that moment, have really educated myself with joint integrity and using different tools. I've integrated steel maces, more kettlebells, a lot of physical therapy type movements to prehab. So like you said, when you're a young man, you just walk in and get right to the heavy work. Now I'm spending that 20 minutes to prehab and learn how to, stabilize everything properly.
Now, let's go back a little bit. You've been on a lot of magazine covers and you've been featured in a lot of magazines. How'd you get involved with that?
I always wanted it. I don't know why. I just always knew that that was my dream or my goal. And I happened to meet some of the right people at the right times. And one guy who is a friend of mine now and a client was a photographer, and he and I collaborated. So besides Greg Plitt, like I would say the number one cover model ever, I'm the person that he's shot the most with. So he and I just really had a good partnership along the way with that. But it was really took a while to build into cover status. So to people that think it's easy or this, that, and the other thing, maybe 5 years of being published regularly, weekly, monthly, whatever. But it wasn't until years and years till the covers started to come in.
You didn't have an agent for any of that? You stumbled upon?
I've had various agents. So I've had agents in New York and LA and in the Midwest and stuff like that. But really, that's more for commercial projects and other, theatrical film, other things like that. But really with fitness, 90% of it at least is just my own grind, hustle, networking, and just putting in the work.
And that was networking through the gym, correct?
Yeah, through the gym, but also through email. Back, I remember going to Borders or Barnes & Noble back in the day and laying out the magazines and writing down all the names of the editors and the art directors and, slowly networking with these people, meeting them, flying out to, shoot with Muscle and Fitness or various publications. But it took legwork in a way of sending a lot of emails, perfecting that kind of process. And then these editors and people are always changing jobs too. So you're always having to hustle, month to month.
You talk about networking, social media has blown the roof off everything and made things a lot easier for up-and-coming individuals that are trying to get into fitness, modeling, or doing anything in particular. How's it benefited your business?
I think I was just caught the right time in my career being at where, some of those magazines that I was on were the end of print, like they were the last publication ever was the cover I was on or something like that. So I really caught a golden era of that where Facebook was newer. It still wasn't like people's parents weren't on Facebook then. I remember I was in college for business management and they're like, hey, be careful using, social media to promote yourself. I'm like, well, shit, this is bringing me tons of magazines and money. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I just caught a good time there. And then it's just ever since some years are better than others. You have to figure out what the best advertising dollars are spent on which platforms. And it's just kind of a moving target.
And I'm trying to figure out ad placement on Facebook. I'm still a newbie, so to speak, when it comes to that. Do you use ad placement to promote your business?
Yeah, I've been buying ads for a couple of years since I started my production company, and I would say that I've spent a lot of my money on Google, but now it looks like in 2018 the advertising bucks are probably better off spent on Facebook again, right? So right when people say, oh, Facebook's dead, no one uses Facebook anymore, we'll probably see a big resurge of Facebook ads, and you can kind of get more specific with the targeting on Facebook versus the Google.
And Justin, I heard like your organic reach nowadays on Facebook is very limited. I hear they're really trying to push everybody to promote through Facebook ads. Is that true?
Yeah, and also, it's my frustration is when I went all in with this process, I started to get censored because when I first started doing this, I'd post a six-pack ab photo and we get thousands of likes, tons of web traffic, sales, conversions. Now it's like, oh, this is deemed as sexual content, or this isn't inappropriate, or this is too many curse words, or, whatever it is. But the things that kind of make these platforms cool as they get commercialized and more big corporate money, and you're competing with Beachbody, who has these like kind of corny commercial ads, they're going to cater to that and not the guy who's maybe giving you the raw deal.
How have you worked around that situation?
I've gotten my ass kicked a lot. Taking a lot of it on the chin where I think great pieces of content have been censored, and that pisses me off. But I just keep going. I'm just relentless in production. Maybe 9 out of 10 are not working, but that 10th piece goes and takes and is relevant.
Now, you talk about production. Why don't we talk about Mind Muscle Productions? How did the idea turn into reality?
Well, like I said, I'd be lying if I said it was a short process. Over a decade or so.
Nothing's a short process. Yeah, like you said, everybody thinks, oh boy, that was really quick. That's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 32 years old right now, and I started doing this when I was 21, right? So I spent that years and years making a lot of other people rich, first of all,
Yeah.
with, corporations and other platforms that had a nice following. So I was like, all right, obviously I can produce content that converts. Like some of those bodybuilding.com content is getting millions of impressions and views. I did it for other Six Pack Factory, Muscle and Strength. So I'm like, all right, I'm hitting all these other platforms and Dymatize, doing all this stuff. But then as I keep creating over the years, I'm like, all right, I want to get away from this basic content and I want to dig deeper and talk about, motivation coming from darkness or from other struggles in life or, the right brain or just in more in-depth content, more raw, more real. And that's when I realized the editors didn't want to publish any of that. They were like, oh, give us 3 more recipes. I'm like, well, I already gave you 5 recipes. I mean, how many more do you want? So then I kind of went rogue and said, I'm just going to make the most real platform and I'm going to take a couple years and keep the rights to everything that I produce because I'm tired of everyone else profiting off my creations. So then I took it all in-house. And there's various books that have inspired me along this process. Like when I really got nitty-gritty and was willing to risk all of my money, which is another thing that people talk lightly about. I mean, this isn't raising venture capital. It's just having the balls to go all in. That's another factor. And then in that time, I read Story Wars. That's a good book that I recommend anyone to check out. I also read a book on training by Mark Devine called The Unbeatable Mind. And I just happened to be at a fitness expo and bump into a booth and read the book by coincidence. And I kind of took a lot of inspiration from that. And I realized, I'm like, you know what? I want to have this deeper message, this Eastern philosophy integrated in with hardcore, badass, Jersey strength training and kind of integrate all this together into something that's real and authentic and start my own production company. So about 2.5 years ago, I just went all in on this more rogue brand and creating the best content I could.
Justin, too, I think being real is key to success nowadays. With social media, there's a lot of people that are keeping it real and they're gathering quite a following. Even with this show, like my intros are very over the top. But I tell everybody, I am a real novice when it comes to business. I'm an entertainer, and I'm trying to learn by interviewing all of you guys. Keeping it real, pretty much. And I feel like that's a good way to relate. As far as YouTube goes, you have amassed over 4,000 subscribers. What is the process like building up a following of that magnitude? And was there any obstacles that you had to overcome?
I definitely will tackle both those questions, but I want to get to your first point to say that when keeping it real, there's also that value of entertainment, which I feel like a lot of the intellectuals in the fitness industry specifically miss. So whatever you want to call it, putting a little sauce on it, making it funny, making it a little over the top. I like that. And I think that's actually what makes content entertaining. So a lot of the most educational content could stand to be quite a bit more entertaining. So I think you're definitely onto something with that and, kind of putting it all together. With the YouTube stuff, you said amassed a lot of following. But to me, I've never touted huge numbers. Like, yeah, I'm almost at 5,000 subscribers, but that's not a lot in the YouTube stratosphere where people have millions of subscribers.
Right, yeah.
But when I started my brand, I realized I'm just going to do it the hard way, like I did everything else, and just build it brick by brick. And I actually appreciate every subscriber that I get. I actually
keep it real
and respond. The old saying, 1,000 true fans is better than 100,000, phony fans. And that's what I realized when I started getting content that had millions of impressions or millions of views. It wasn't necessarily converting to millions of dollars, right? That's the misconception. Right. So knowing that, focusing on building relationships with real people. And now it's growing organically. Even if I don't post a video for a month, I'm going to get more subscribers than I ever did in the first few months, just because the channel is growing so much now. But my process was just throw it against the wall till it sticks. I mean, granted, I'm doing a lot of back-end keyword research and writing scripts, and I am putting that extra value. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to have a higher quality will lead to higher profitability long term. But like I said, only 1 in 10, sometimes 1 in every 20 videos actually ranks on Google. So who wants to flop 19 times, right? I mean, you have to just keep plugging away to get them.
That's what I've noticed too, as far as YouTube goes, and even with the podcast, it's a lot of hit or miss. It's a lot of fine tuning. Any mistakes you've made along the way as far as YouTube goes that you've learned from?
Yeah, I mean, I spent, I want to say $50,000 on production, where I was like, I'm just going to be super real and super cool and people are going to care. Well, first of all, those videos weren't that good because I didn't have that much practice. So if I watch them now, they're like cringy. And then on top of it, I didn't have the call to actions, right? Where it's like, there's no shame if I'm giving you 4 minutes or 7 minutes of really good content to say, by the way, go to justinwoltering.com, click here, click on this to opt into that, whatever. You have to have some type of direct funnel for the client or they're not going to know what to do. You have to be very specific with your call to actions and your branding. And I feel like that's where I was just a little too lax for a lot of years.
What's going on, Flex Zone fanatics? Brad Storm here to tell you that Flex Zone Preflex really does work. Let's face the facts. The older I get, the harder it is for me to find that extra jolt of energy. It doesn't matter if I'm working out, chasing my 3-year-old around the house, or editing the next episode of Enter the Flex Zone. I just need to stay focused. I've been taking Blue Raz Preflex for around a month now, and I can say to you, the listeners, that I've kicked my energy drink habit that I've had for 15 plus years, and I'm saving $30 a week in the process. Now I'm feeling energized without the anxious feeling I had all the time drinking energy drinks. If you're ready for something different that's made right here in the USA, use code STORM15 at flexzonesups.com and get 15% off your purchase. It's that simple. Flex Zone supplements and Enter the Flex Zone are where it's at.
I'm Byron Ryan, and I've entered the Flex Zone.
Do you have a team as far as your YouTube page that film and help you write scripts, or is that all you?
It's mostly all me. I mean, I'm pretty much a solopreneur. My brother is a actor in Hollywood, but I did have 2 years when he was out of college where he was my basically full-time employee. So I had a video guy that I would work with almost daily, and that's how I was able to build up that volume of content. I have another good friend of mine who's a champion power lifter, David LaMartina, and he has helped me with some scripts, and he's a professional copywriter, but it's basically 90% me on all of it.
And it's funny too, Justin, you go on Instagram. I think that's one of the best places to just share what you got going on. But as far as posting pictures constantly, doing videos, sometimes I feel like it's a little bit of a grind. Do you feel the same way in that scenario?
Yeah, I mean, this is where I feel like, in a way, as a, purist or a creator, that I'm trying to provide a lot of value. So I get a little irritated with always short 30-second snippets or whatever. I like digging deeper. That's why podcasts are cool. That's why long form video. So I feel like I'm putting my effort into the long ball game of evergreen content that is going to get views for years and years to come. So I plan on everything I create to get me more views in 5 years than it is right now. But you have to still can't hold your nose up to the fact that people want 30-second snippets and short clips. That part is a grind. And to that point, I did have an employee for most of last year who was kind of just like helping me format my blogs and videos into social media snippets and stuff like that, because that's not my passion per se in the creative process. But you're only as good as the medium that people perceive you in, I guess. So you have to keep doing whatever works.
I think the short videos are great. I think short podcasts are great. That's why this one's only around 30 minutes long. You see those longer 2-hour ones. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I was like, yeah, if it's like we're talking about the Patriots, you can have a 2-hour podcast, because it's worldwide and everybody sees it and everybody was into it. But if you're just trying to build yourself up and make your name for yourself, the short videos and the short podcast or whatever you're doing, it works.
I like 30 minutes of content, even like, being in the Screen Actors Guild and watching all these feature films right now. Even when movies are 2 hours, 10 minutes, like, come on, man, we could do this in probably 90 minutes. It doesn't have to be quite so long. So I agree. I think 30 minutes is the perfect length for me.
Justin, did you see the new Blade Runner? I was like, holy shit, this is the longest movie.
I want to, though. I want that one.
I thought it was pretty good, but it took a while to just get going. I'm like, oh my God, this is taking forever.
Seems to be a trend in that direction on everything, where people know long form is good, but they're just dragging it out to ridiculous lengths.
Everybody has, most people have mentors in their life that help them get to where they are today. Anybody that's mentored you through your youth?
Yeah, I feel like I always think about that. I'm like, man, I never looked for a mentor, but the mentors came in at the right time in my life. So I think back to authenticity. If you're doing what's true to you or following your bliss, happiness, that person kind of just manifests. So I've had the photographer that I mentioned earlier. He also taught me how to communicate and network efficiently with all the publications. Like, there's a reason they want to talk to me, right? I have certain ways of pitching media packages. Greg Plitt, the fitness model, he was a big mentor in how I built my business model, and like spending a little time with him and talking to him was just a very fortunate thing. As a young guy who is early 20s, having this guy around you who's you thought was a legend and an icon is all of a sudden sitting there, giving you advice. So I was able to kind of work with some people like that. His good friend in the industry, David Morin, is a friend of mine who we worked at Dymatize together for 5 years or so. And he provided quite a bit of inspiration and just motivation. And then I've had other business mentors outside of fitness as well, just clients that are successful entrepreneurs who I was able to spend a lot of years with and just kind of see the underbelly and the behind the scenes of how they run these big businesses and what it really takes. So I'm hoping to get a new one soon,
Nice.
but it's all good.
Now, you're the author of Bigger, Better, Faster 2.0 Muscle Building Program. Why don't you tell everybody out there what it's all about?
That was my first product that probably started 5 to 7 years ago. And being a skinny guy growing up, I always wanted to produce content. So that's really my niche and how I got known in the fitness industry, was just providing honest, no BS information for skinny guys to get big. And as the content started to go more viral, get, millions of views, lots of interaction, then I realized that I was at least onto something, because most people were targeting fat loss. I was targeting skinny guy get big. It's my story. It's our story. So everyone who's been involved with Bigger, Better, Faster has been with me for, almost a decade now. And it's still out there. It still generates sales and leads. And I was just really lucky early on in marketing. I think the timing was also really good with affiliate marketing and product marketing, that I was able to reach all over the world and make sales, Iceland and Australia.
Oh, wow.
And, being this young guy, that was just an awesome experience to do that. And then as it evolved with the My Muscle Productions, that's when I released the follow-up. But I waited 5 to 7 years to really kind of condense my feedback from the initial product and then see how I felt about building a really in-depth 200-page muscle building fitness Bible that really had everything that I've created condensed down again. So the My Muscle Academy is kind of like the follow-up product to the Bigger, Better, Faster product. And that's for guys that are looking for more of the mental focus and the warrior mindset paired with training like an athlete to look like a fitness model. So Bigger, Better, Faster is more like powerlifting focus, and the My Muscle Academy is more an integrated warrior training program.
How difficult is it to get published as an author?
To get in the magazines, I think you just have to have good content. And once you get in, like the editors would tell me, because after a while I'd say, hey, I need more money, or I need some more covers, or I'm going to have to go do my own thing, blah, blah. And they would say, oh man, you're my favorite guy here. That's why I always give you the center feature. So I think if you just meet deadlines and you're personable, that also matters too once you establish that relationship. But at first, luckily I had the whole fitness model thing to kind of break the ice. So yeah, getting through the gatekeepers is a never-ending struggle, right? You have to just kind of keep being savvy and keep working it.
And I guess never give up. That's what a lot of guys and girls say about when I interview them. They say you just can't give up. You can't just say, okay, this is hard, I've had enough. You just got to keep pushing until you find the right people.
Yeah, and also know that get the right deal for you. I mean, just because you're getting published,
don't sell yourself short.
99% of the time, they're getting the better end of the deal. So you have to, find your self-worth in the process.
What do you think about supplementation, and what supplements do you recommend?
I like just basic supplements. I mean, I'm on isolate, hydrolyzed isolate whey protein, branched chain amino acids, multivitamin, fish oil, and ZMA before bed. Just a really basic supplement stack. I think that, make sure you're getting the quality products and getting the best deal for the dollar. So I think supplements are legit, but I think that there's also a lot of BS and a lot of hype out there. So how do you navigate that is the question.
What is ZMA, by the way?
Zinc magnesium aspartate. So it's a zinc supplement, basically. And you could read reviews where people say, oh, this is bogus, or this is BS. Or other people say, oh, this is an amazing supplement. I just feel like it allows you to get a little bit deeper sleep, and it kind of makes your dreams really vivid as well. That's my experience with it. So I just think it's a way that I don't get sick. So, I mean, I'm actually getting over a little something right now, but I never really get sick, and I give a little bit of credit to the zinc.
Well, I think a lot of people, too, they're especially entrepreneurs, they're so focused on what they're doing. It's hard sometimes for them to sleep, turn the wheels off going on in the head. And I guess that would provide them, like you said, with better sleep. And most of us don't get 8 hours of sleep every night.
Yeah, and kind of forcing into those set bedtimes and wake times, and even like artist clients and stuff will say, oh, I'm creative. If I'm feeling it, I can't, call when inspiration hits. Well, yeah, you can't, but you can try to force yourself most of the time to get a set sleep schedule. So I'm a believer in trying to sleep and wake at specific times and kind of build that rhythm around that as well. So whether it's a little melatonin or meditation breathing practice, or not looking at blue light on your phone for 30 minutes, but just trying to get in bed and unwind for 30 minutes and give yourself that time to really get there.
I have a 3-year-old, so it's like, man, if I don't go to bed at a certain time, I'm screwed the next day.
Man, you're busy then. Mine's 6 now, but yeah, they're a handful.
Did she lose a tooth or something recently?
Yeah. We lost a front tooth this week. That's actually probably the most exciting thing happening, man. It's awesome watching them
The Tooth
grow up.
Fairy
You know,
came.
do you have a boy or a girl?
I have a girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Yeah, it's funny how you think you're this big strong guy or whatever, but those little girls will get you every time, man. It's the best thing going.
I think the plan is to get her into some jujitsu here in the future. I want to make sure she can defend herself down the road.
Yeah, we can be the bodyguard, but we still want them to be tough. It's a good time to have a daughter, man. Women are tougher and tougher than ever before, right? So
Right.
it's good.
What's been your proudest moment to date?
That, man, I'd say my daughter, and at the time it was crazy because I remember I got my college degree the same exact day I found out
Oh, nice.
that my wife was pregnant, my girlfriend at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to have these years to just travel and live life. And, it's still been great, but it's really helped me prioritize and realize, magazine covers, business, all this stuff is great and fun, but nothing to me is as important as her. So I think growing up as the oldest of 8 children, something that I wish I could have had more of myself maybe, but it's just really important to me to be there for my child. And I think that's what's the problem with all this social media stuff is you don't see what's behind the scenes, and there should be more fame and respect for people that are just good people who are actually taking care of their children. So.
Yeah, because we don't see that a lot on social media. It's all these internet keyboard warriors hiding behind their keyboard, bitching about everything. And it's good to be around, like you said, good people that are positive. And I think you find that a lot in the entrepreneurial world. Because if you're not positive, you're just not going to get anywhere doing your own thing.
You can't complain that people are entitled to this or that. It's like, just do the hard work and take care of your family, man. And that's where it's such a biased opinion after being around certain celebrities or fitness personalities. And you see that they're not actually good business people or they're not good family people. So that 1 million views and 1 million followers isn't quite as impressive at that point.
I got a stormy weather question for you because the clouds are coming in. It's been snowing everywhere. I saw a video on your YouTube page and you were talking about cannabis as far as bodybuilding goes. What's your thoughts on cannabis? Do you think it's going to be legal here down the road?
Well, I'll say this, that as an entrepreneurial segment is that I just invested in a lot of the cannabis companies and immediately saw like a 50% profit overnight.
Wow.
So I am definitely betting and investing on cannabis getting legal nationwide. So I think it's like anything that people are scared to talk about, invest in, there's a lot of potential for business growth as well. But, when it comes to bodybuilding, I just think that it's a tool that people have used for thousands of years to awaken a part of themselves, to maybe get more focus or more calm or more specific in their vision of what they're going to create. But I created that video on weed, the organic pre-workout, and it's ranking really well on Google and getting lots of likes and comments, and it's doing really well. And in that process, I realized that, man, a lot of people do relate to this, but I made sure that towards the end of the video, I made a point to say, mind your temperament and know yourself, because that's the whole root philosophy of everything I'm doing with mastery and truth and simplicity is knowing yourself. And if you're an anxious person, if you are someone who's a lazy person, it's probably not going to be the best fit. So I'm not going to give some
you go to the gym
stoner hippie answer and say, everyone should be blazing all the time, but I think if you're aware and, maybe in moderation, it could be a good fit.
You go blaze and then you have a big anxiety attack while you're in the middle of the gym. That won't be a good one.
Yeah. Too much pre-workout paired with that might be a dangerous combo, so watch out.
You remember Ultimate Orange? I used to take that stuff when I was younger. Ultimate Orange and Rip Fuel. Yeah, that was big.
It's funny you say that because it rebranded the Ultimate Orange in 2005 or something. And I tried it and I was like, oh, this is not like the original.
No, because the original was like, oh my God. You go work out for 3 hours, you'd be like, hell yeah. And go out to the clubs later at night.
Well, I've always wanted to pair those with vodka, but I never actually got around to it. But
what's that, Jaeger bomb? You could have the Ultimate Orange bomb.
Yeah, there we go. That's original. We should trademark that.
It should be the napalm bomb. But Justin, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, man. I appreciate it. You got any shout outs you want to make before I let you go?
Just go ahead and check out justinwoltering.com. Check out the Mind Muscle Academy, YouTube Mind Muscle Academy, Twitter justinwoltering.com. Any social sites, I'm there. Reach out. I'll hit you back.
Any final thoughts?
Sure. If anybody wants to sign up for the program or buy my ebook, if you buy the Muscle Building ebook or the My Muscle Academy book on the justinwoltering.com store, I will give you a $100 value free. I will give you access to all the videos, 100 exclusive videos, everything on the back end of my site. But when you buy the product, just shoot me a message and say, I heard about you on the Flex Zone, and I'll hook it up.
Thank you, Justin, and hope to talk to you here soon. All right, Flex Zone fanatics, you can follow Justin Woltering on Twitter at JWalt and also on Instagram at Mind Muscle Academy. Also want to check him out on the web at justinwaltering.com. Talking to Justin Woltering today, it was great to learn more about what he has going on and his struggles and his successes throughout his business endeavors. But one thing's key in that what he says throughout this interview is keeping it real. We got reality shows out there that don't even really showcase reality. With social media, you really don't know who is faking what they got going on or is telling the truth. With Justin Woltering, we see a genuine individual that had to work hard to get to where he is today. Now, he's made mistakes and he's learned from those mistakes, but one thing remains true. He's as real as it gets. I'm Brad Storm. You can follow me at BradStormVO on Twitter, Brad Storm Lanou on Instagram, and Voices of the Storm Recording on Facebook. I want you guys to subscribe to the iTunes and YouTube channels, comment, like, rate, share with the world. All right, Flex Zone fanatics, I'm going to cut you a deal. Now, if you guys leave us a review on iTunes, you want to promote your business on the review, you want to just say what's on your mind, I'll pick one review from iTunes or read one out each and every week. Just thanking you guys for helping us out, and I'm going to help you out at the same time. It's really that simple. Punch every day in the face. And I'll meet up with you guys again when we enter the Flex Zone.